Alright, well, here we are again, and I know I'm still working on that cabinet video, so I'll have that out for you guys soon, but this might be a little quick one. We're going to call this one, "What's That Noise?" Because I was cruising around the other day, just trying to put some miles on the bus, and I started hearing a noise from this here right wheel. I don't know if it's a bearing or something's loose in there. So what we're going to do is jack her up and take that wheel off and give it a look-see. See if we can figure out what the heck's making that squeaking, rubbing type noise. Alright, like I was saying, when I was driving this around the other day, actually it's been going on for a while, what happened was I took this all apart one time to check my brake pads because I bought some new brake pads. And the brake pads were fine, so I didn't change them, so I put it all back together. And then ever since then, it's been making a racket. Rubbing, squeaking, something's going on. So I figure what we can do is we can just, I don't know, do a general visual inspection, as we say in the aviation world, of this hub area. Maybe take this off and see if the bearing needs some grease, etc. So let's start. The first thing we can do is let's take that off. Take the hub, put the cap off. I already loosened it, so don't think it was that loose. And we'll take a peek in there. And I mean, it looks okay. There's no play, but it probably would not hurt to take that out and maybe re-grease that bearing. So let me get some rags. Over here. Grease. Let me get a little thing to sit on. So you guys probably notice whenever I work outside on the ground, I got a little drop cloth or mat, and it may not seem like it would make a big difference. My dad, back in New York, when I was growing up, he always carried a carpet remnant or something in his car, and he said it was for the in case he ever had to work on a car outside in the dirt. I never really thought about that until I started doing it myself. And let me tell you what, even this little drop cloth between you and the ground, it makes all the difference. You guys who know what I'm talking about. It's almost crazy how big of a difference it is working on that drop cloth rather than having to sit on the dirt or in the ground, on the ground when you're working on your car. Anyway, it's a little thing my dad taught me. Let me get a adjustable wrench so we can loosen that up, and I'll get right back with you guys. Alright, to get that front bearing out, it's really simple on these Volkswagens. You got to loosen this guy up, which is an Allen head little lock bolt thing. Let me see how you guys look. Maybe I can zoom in a little. And when you loosen that up, most of the time you don't got to take it all the way out. Loosen that up, and you got to take off this nut here, which is on the spindle. And normally you got to whack it with a hammer or something. I loosened mine up earlier because I knew I was going to make the video. Take that out. Slowly learning about these videos. You gotta do stuff, loosen the bolts up first before you turn the camera on, etc. So you don't look like a fool trying to take this stuff apart when it won't come apart. There's a little washer here. The rag out so I can show it to you. It's a little washer, and it has this little nub on it. It only goes on one way. There's a little cutout in the spindle. Here, let me show you guys. Cutout in the spindle. Bear with me for a second here, because I'm on the tripod. So, okay, there we go. So there's a little cutout on the spindle right there, you can see, that that nut or that washer slides in on, locks all that stuff together. Get your back. All right. And then once you got all that off, this bearing should just slide out of here. And if it doesn't, then you got a real big problem. Because sometimes if you don't check this bearing, clean the bearing, make sure the bearing has grease, all that other garbage, what could happen is your bearing can get, what I say, welded onto the hub. And it gets so hot with the friction in there, this thing gets stuck to the hub. And so then taking it off is a real bitch. So I'm not going to take apart this whole thing today. I'm just going to clean this off and re-grease it. Kind of like a half-ass job, because I don't feel like taking off this brake caliper today, which I already just took off. Not that it's a pain in the ass, but I mean, I just had it off, so I don't know. I mean, I have not changed these since I bought this bus, so maybe I should just change them or order them up. Christmas is a little far off, so I can't ask for that, and I just had my birthday pass, so I might have to eat that cost. But I mean, all in all, I don't know if you can see it. It doesn't look too bad. There's actually no wear marks on the rollers at all. It looks really nice. So we're just going to re-grease it and put it back in. See that? So you can, when you're doing this job for reals, you know, clean it out with some plaster. And make sure that's real nice and pristine in there. I don't know. I think that's fine. Look at that. It looks almost brand new. So, when you're greasing a bearing, when I was in A&P school, learning how to become an aircraft mechanic, this is one of the things they taught you how to do. You have to get the grease, you have to force the grease on the inside of these bearings. Alright, and the only way to do that, or one of the better ways is to do that, is you get a tool, but most people don't have a bearing greaser. So what you do is you put the grease in your wrist, or excuse me, in your palm, and you force it into that gap. Okay, gotta work it in there. Ta-da! Well, I am. Yeah, so I put the seat out there because people keep coming to talk. So, yeah. Yeah, you can. All right. Got a little distracted there. But one of the beautiful things about owning a Volkswagen is people stop and they talk to you, and so something you got to get used to, I guess. So, if you remember where we left off, I packed the bearing with grease, and I put some grease up in here, and so I'm just gonna slap this sucker back on. Bam! And here's that washer with the little notch, or a little tit, I don't know what you'd call it. It goes into this little notch right here, like so. Then you take on your, you lose your rag, that's the first thing you do. Anyway, put on your little spindle nut, whatever it's called. The other thing is, which way is the correct way to put this on? Because it's like that. See how it sits out? The way I had it on there, and I'm thinking is the way it was this whole flat was against that washer. So that's how I'm going to put it back on there. Although it kind of looks kind of weird sitting that way. Throw that on there. Like so. Help that bearing seat itself. You just spin this thing while you're tightening it. Get your adjustable. Get on there. Now, how tight this thing should be, I don't know. I'm sure that there is a number from Volkswagen that is really, really high, which would be a pain in the ass. Again, I just tighten it as tight as I can, basically. Maybe I'll do like we do at work, whereas we tighten, when we change the tires on the airplane, similar deal, has a single nut that holds the tire on, and so we tighten it really, really high, 300 inch-pounds to be exact, 350 I think. Then we break it loose, break the nut loose again, and we tighten it to a smaller final torque. So, I don't know if that helps out here, but it sure seems like it makes sense. So, that sounds good, feels good. Final step for the, at least this bearing part, is to tighten up this lock. And obviously this keeps it from spinning off, loosening itself. So there's a Volkswagen torque for that too. It's like right there. That's good. Okay. So now we're just gonna, I checked everything else on here and I had my visitor here talking with me. That sounds good, seems good, feels good. There's nothing loose. I even checked the whoa, wrong way. I even checked while I was sitting here that these bolts that hold my beam I got from Wagons West are still tight, and they are nice and tight. As I said in one of my earlier videos, you're supposed to check that every now and then. We can take a peek, a look around. Stand by while I get you off of the tripod. All right, I got you off the tripod. We're just freewheeling it now. You know, obviously when you have your wheel off, at least me, take a peek around, look at everything, see if there's anything out of the ordinary. In this case, I looked around earlier and I haven't seen anything weird. Like I said, this all started when I took this brake caliper off. Started getting those weird noises. The mounting bolts are on the back, and before I put everything back on, I'm just going to make sure that those are nice and tight. And aside from that, that's probably going to do it for this, guys. Hopefully just tightening or taking that bearing out, cleaning it and re-greasing it will help me get rid of that noise. Hopefully that works good. I will be sure to let you guys know though. So once again, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you can. If you want to hit the notification button, that's cool. If not, don't. Me personally, I don't like getting notifications for everything that's going on, so I don't blame you if you don't either. Anyway, this is GOAT. Peace. So one more thing, I told you guys how I work. Look at all this junk I got out. All this junk. All these tools, all these chemicals, all this stuff I took out just to check out that bearing and to put some grease on it. Well, you know, this is how I do it. This is how I do it even at work, like I said. So it's a mess, but at least I got everything I need nearby. All right, well, while you guys watch me put the cap on and put the grease cap on and put the wheel back on, I'm just gonna rattle on here. I'm still working on this upper cabinet. There's some, I had to put the poly on the top of it to protect the wood, and I have to figure out, I got to add some reinforcement to the back of it so that I can screw the cabinet that's going to be sitting up in there onto the whatever bulkhead that I made. So that's still coming. So don't worry, I got it on the way, and it's all I really have to do is do those couple things, and I can drill it all up. And I'm making little videos as I go about me, what I'm doing, each step I'm doing to that bulkhead and that upper cabinet. So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace. you.